In my entire career, I've never seen anybody think of using an automotive smoke machine to test intake manifolds, valve integrity, engine condition. Check out this new use case for this tool. It's awesome. How cool is this machine? Both those are free, so we wouldn't expect to see it. But man. Hey friend, smash that subscribe button. It really helps us out. Hundreds of videos and playlists on here for you. Enjoy the video. Hey friends, Shane from HowToRich.com, and I'm going to show you a use case of one of these smoke detector machines. There's a million videos out there on automotive, but other than the few that I have from when I taught at the college, I just don't see a lot. I've always wanted to do this use case on Harley Davidson for checking the intake manifold, so I'm going to try it out. It's going to be the first time I'm going to see if the attachments will work, so I'm filming this just in case, but let's get this opened up. Well, regardless, we're going to get this opened up and use it, because I love smoke machines and they have a lot of uses. So let me speed this up. Alright, one thing I liked about this kit is I was seeing an insane amount of adapters. Little fill bottle for the smoke. Jeez, just the adapters keep coming, so that's cool. But this is the one, for some reason I was thinking was going to really do what I wanted. Here's a DC battery connection. But what's cool about this is I can pump this up, what I believe, I'm hoping, I'm going to be able to pump it up right into the intake manifold, then put the smoke machine in there and be really super fast. So, oh, a couple extra bladders. Well, that's cool. Let's see what all this comes with. This is not a sponsored video. I paid for this out of my own pocket. Oh yeah. It just looks like... Does it really come with all these repair parts and pieces? Boy, it sure looks like it. We are getting a lot of goodies and bang for the buck. Yeah, that's exactly what that is. That's a rebuild bladder with even the line crimp. That is pretty stinking cool. Try something, see if it works. Let's plug that. Yeah, look at that. Actually, I don't know why I'm plugging the end of that. That hopefully will go right into... Oh yeah, that's got some growth to it. Look at that. Oh, this size, I believe, is going to work great. So this must be a dual layer on here, because it has to let the smoke go through. A little attachment there. Oh yeah, I can feel... Okay, that makes sense. So this bladder is sealing around this one, which this one's straight through and this other one is going around that bladder. That's cool. Yeah, that is stinking cool. Get that baby pumped up, put our smoke through it, and look for leaks. That is cool. Looks like we got a couple of hanging attachments. Comes with even a little funnel. And these tools just sometimes just blow my mind. See, we got a valve core removal tool. It looks like 2 different sizes. Hanging tool. I've seen this one too, where you can just wedge it in there if you have a tight enough seal around something like an exhaust tube or whatnot. This is a really popular one for some car intakes and exhausts to get in and look for leaks. Couple little set screws. Is that for these? Let's find out. All right. The reason I went with this one. I paid a little bit more money, but I know the value of a smoke machine. So it's just fantastic for two-stroke engines, for testing cases before you do a bunch more work. This, like I said, a bunch of uses. I think people just don't, another clamp, they don't maximize this opportunity. But what's neat about this one is that it has the ability to gauge the pressure that you want to put in there on the flow meter. So sometimes in automotive applications, there's a specification that when you hook this up, it needs to hold that, and you actually have something you can measure against to tell you that you're not meeting specification. Now, we're not going to have that on motorcycles because this is not ever seen in manuals, but let's go ahead and get this together. It's going to be really simple. There's just a fill point right here, and believe it or not, baby oil is what works fantastic in these, and the reason I love that is because it's crazy cheap, and actually went and actually bought it at the dollar store. So talk about always available and super cheap. Looks like on the back here, we got our DC plug-in, the smoke out. That's gonna be this guy here. Oh, cool, a little oil drain if you wanna see if you're full or change the oil in it. Man, stupid cool. Oh yeah, it's even tapered to let that run in. Man, this thing is really just surprising the heck out of me. Let me read the manual and not bore you, and I'll come back. We'll have this thing together. All right, let's look at some instructions. It's saying to add 15 millimeters of smoke oil the first time. Wait 120 seconds, 2 minutes then, for the oil to soak into the cotton core. Before next use, you can observe in the oil window if the oil is low or smoke is less. Add a maximum of 10 millimeters of smoke each time. Cool, I can see why it comes with the funnel, and they want you to be careful. It says too much or too little oil will lead to poor smoke effect. Turn on the smoke mode and air mode, wait about 20 seconds, and test whether the smoke is normal. Let's do it. Dollar store, baby. All right, with that 25 total, I am right at the max. Good job on the manual there. Okay, next we need a battery. Let's set this over here for now. All right, I like that it already has cord management. So you can hear that pump. And by plugging this, you can see the gauge rising. And now we can see we got smoke. Yeah, baby. Okay, this is cool. I didn't realize that you can just do air, or you can add the smoke. Let's go get this on the motorcycle. I don't even want to waste any time. Super rad. All right, here we are, and any motorcycle, any car, anything that has an intake leak can really give you grief, right? And especially, I see a lot of people when I was teaching, or bikes I fixed, where I'd go into the carburetor or fuel system where there's fuel injector or carburetor, and I'd see the carburetor insanely rich for like the motor and air cleaner, exhaust, that stuff was on there, and I'd always go, man, why is this thing so rich? I mean, there's just no need for it, and it would always be traced back to intake leaks. Always, all the time, because you're getting all the extra air, and instead of fixing the intake leak, they're overcompensating with the jetting or the EFI settings for this intake leak. Well, where that's a real problem is you ultimately can make it run good, but your gas mileage is going to be horrible, right? So why not just make it right? So this Harley Davidson is going to be really cool to do because it has hydraulic lifters. I've had it sitting in a position where all 4 lifters, you can hear that clunkety clunk, okay? That means all the lifters are bled down, which means that the valves are closed on both cylinders, which means that I could go in here and put smoke into the intake and then try to see if it leaks out anywhere. Now, there's no 100% seals out there on engines, right? Everything will tend to have a 1 or 2% leakage past the valves and so much past the rings and so on. So I'm going to start this test with the spark plugs in because I want that smoke to be able to build up as much as possible, even if it's going past the valves. My big goal is, because we're not doing a valve job, right? My big goal is to try and make sure that I don't have any smoke leaking around these seals or around this sensor. That's my entire goal here. So let me put those spark plugs in. The other thing that this test will do is it'll tell you if you had a massive like intake leak, right? If it just starts pouring out the, out the engine right away, you'd know, hey, well, that thing's really leaking. But I prefer to do an actual leak down test for that kind of data. Right now, what I'm focused on is simply just the intake manifold itself. So we're gonna find out if this is gonna work. Close our valve. Well, I'll tell you what. I really think this is going to work. So we're going to go ahead here and plug in. Oops. Gotta hook up our battery first. All right, ready? This is a 23-year-old motorcycle, and it's not going to shock me if there is leaks, right? I'll tell you what. Woo! Let me tell you. This thing is not only sealing good on the intake, but it is sealing really good on the valves, because if it was enough to build enough pressure to actually push my testing port out. I was a little surprised by that. You saw me bend over maybe and it hit me, but look, you could see it is definitely working. Let's go ahead and prove that it's working. We've got smoke and pressure going in there. We got nothing coming out. Let me prove a point here. I'm going to put this back in here, and I'm going to pull the spark plugs and see. It just wouldn't surprise me if we have a little bit coming out the spark plugs. Dang it, man. This thing worked great. What a great size for this. Let me go ahead and take those plugs out. And boy, that's really... Because when I stuck a borescope down in the engine, it was pre-carboned up. I mean, no surprise. We were in doing tensioner maintenance and changing out some gaskets. They want to sell the bike and they want to make it nice for someone else, but that doesn't mean you necessarily are going to make a whole brand new engine, right? You just make it right. And so when the borescope was in there, you could tell the bike had run way too much of its life rich, a lot of extra fuel deposits in there. So let's go ahead and try this again. Well, I'll tell you what, fantastic, absolutely fantastic. There is not, well, we found the breaking point here of what a spec would be here. That is awesome. Now, I want to prove that this can work. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bump the engine a little bit and open this intake valve and prove to show like what you could see where that smoke would all of a sudden be going out the spark plug. Let me do that. What great news here. It's fantastic. Okay, so watch this intake valve. I'm going to just barely bump it. I don't know where the motor is right now. I'm going to have to decide which. I'm just doing that one. Okay, there's a exhaust. Okay. Okay. Just want to get that intake open a little bit. Okay, we're tight. See if I can catch this before the lifter bleeds down. I should be able to. Okay, there's no doubt about it. We should see smoke now coming out that spark plug. Let me take you over there. How cool is this machine? Both those are free, so we wouldn't expect to see it. But man, well, my friends, how stinking cool is this? We'd love to see in the comments what you thought. If you own one of these, if you want to get one. Really cool, lightweight. Love this. I was originally going to hang it sideways, and I felt like it was going to be tipped and then maybe not have the oil onto the reservoir or that cotton piece that's in there like it should be, so I didn't want to risk it and went ahead and put it level. I just now noticed there's a power indicator. Cool as well. So another thing I just noticed, so overheat protection. I just love it when these ideas just come together and they just simply pay the dividends that we want. So I want you to think about this. I've seen these as cheap as like 50 bucks. You got a couple dollars worth of oil. If you were to put, well, Harleys are easy. They're easy intake manifold replacements. There's still some labor things. You got to take the top motor mount off. You got to take the carburetor and air cleaner. But if you did have, you know, a rough idle, or it was hunting, or you just horrible gas mileage because somebody threw a ton of fuel at it because of that intake leak, they're not that bad to get to. But when you start to talk about intake leaks like on Japanese motorcycles, this V-twin one is a ton of body work to get off, to get to. If you take this Ninja, for example, the amount of work to get down to those intakes to do those tests are just absolutely massive. So something like this with so much flexibility to be able to do those things is just awesome. Speaking of which, I've done some other videos where I used the smoke machine where I went into exhaust to test up at the header gaskets to see if the headers were leaking. That was another use case in one of my other videos. Crankcase leaks, putting the smoke in, finding out exactly where the leak was coming from because you can see right where the smoke is leaking. I mean, it's a cool tool. I've been a big fan. I just haven't owned one, you know, since, or had access to one, I should say, since 2018. And I'll be honest, it's because the one that I used last by Blue Point was like $800. And it was like, this thing's really cool. But I mean, if you're not doing this all day long for a living, I mean, $800 tool, that starts to get pretty questionable. You know, we're all weighing those options on how bad we need something. But I'll tell you this, if I can, you know, throw 60, 70 bucks at this and now have it, I'm going to tell you that frequency of use is going to go up as well, because I'm sure I'll be even thinking of other things I can use it for. It's super cool. All right, my friends, I'm going to wrap this up. If you have not done so yet, if you could make sure and smash that subscribe button, like and share this video with your friends. Use the links we put below for the Amazon purchases. Helps us out. But we're going to get back to work. So as always, make it a great day and keep wrenching.